Good evening, everybody. It's time for the Rust Store predictions. As you can see here, all of these Rust skins rotated into the Rust Store today, and we're going to go ahead and try and figure out which of these skins potentially might be the best investment, which of these skins might give us some of those delicious looking profits. Right, so quick bit of context. Please know that this Rust Store right here rotated at like 4 hours earlier than average. It was a very early Rust Store today. So don't compare the sales numbers with previous weeks. That's not a good idea, all right? So just want to make sure that you're aware of this. Also, I'm going to have a bit of a talk again, so please understand you really have to play it safe now. If we just look at the calendar real quick, so right now it's starting to get, it's September now. And September, October, not a very good time. Rust skin prices are already going down, and they're potentially going to go even lower. Now, not all skins are going to go dramatically down. Some should still hold their value, especially collections that are still getting more skins accepted. But overall, skin prices are going to go down, and you have to play it extra safe. You have to keep an eye on all of the buy orders that you do. Look at what happened to me today. So just to get started, we have the likes of all of these Knights Templar AK47s. They got very cheap. So cheap that the lowest listing was only 1 penny higher than my buy order, which was the highest buy order. I had to remove that very quickly because I would have bought far too many of these too quickly, and well, I wouldn't have been able to sell them to get my money back. I would have made a loss. Or at the very least, I would have had to wait a good few months until I could sell them again to get my money back. And then we have the Abyss chest plates. Take a look at this. Yeah, you have to keep an eye on your buy orders, otherwise this might happen to you. And I have to wait a good few months now to be able to sell these for a profit. Or, fingers crossed, maybe we might see Abyss Tier 2 on the horizon. That's just copium. But yeah, so if you can't afford this, you better put an extra bit of effort into keeping on all of your buy orders. If it's too risky, just remove the buy order. And if you think you still could potentially buy them at a cheaper price, remove the buy order, put down a different price that's lower. Simple as that. So yeah, unfortunately I was too slow to notice this, and I bought like 40 of them. That's quite a lot of money, and I can self-sustain. I can get that money back. That's not too much of a problem for me, but I don't think you can kind of deal with that. So just want to get the point across. If you're not keeping an eye on everything, things can get really bad. So, yeah. Now, okay, another thing. Some people keep asking this. Some people say, how come you don't speak about all of the skins? Well, I want you to get this. I'm only going to speak about skins that I think have a fairly decent chance of potentially being a good investment. If I don't talk about the skin, I'm not confident in it at all. I might still put a buy order down for it, but it'll be a very low ball buy order, all right? So please understand that. I'm going to talk about skins that I feel like there is a decent chance I can make a profit out of them, but if I don't talk about it, I'm sure you understand now. Right then, so we've got all of that established. We've got to play it safe. Most of the time, it's probably only going to be buy orders from here on now for the next few months. I already said that last week. I'm committing to that as well. Okay, so let's get things started. Here we have the Ghillie suit jacket. Now, to my surprise, another jacket so quickly. Okay, well, yeah. So this appearing kind of made this slip a bit today, quite significantly. This is now sitting at around just under $3. Not the best position to be in, but, that did like 45,000 sales, so that's kind of a different story. It's got its own problems, but we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about this. Now, this is also selling for $3.49. Looks pretty cool. Loads of people already showing their appreciation. I saw a lot of very positive responses on Twitter with the likes of this. Now, if you go over to the comments, again, loads of positive comments. And Cubist, one of the skin creators, is very positive to the idea of making a sequel. We're very likely going to be seeing some new Ghillie suit skins being made fairly soon. I don't know how quick, but at the very least, you have to keep an eye on the workshop over the course of this weekend. Oh, look, a streamer skin, Komodo. Hey, that's cool. Anyway. Point made, you've got to keep an eye on the workshop over the course of this weekend. We don't need to rush into buying anything. You want to get all the potential positive context. Maybe this weekend, we might see, Ghillie suit hoodie and pants, or burlap clothing, or hide clothing. Let's just wait it out, right? This is abnormal. This is going to become marketable at an earlier time compared to the regular skins that you can see right here. So let's use that to our advantage. We can do our buy orders first, look at the support afterwards, and if the buy orders are going all the way up to about $3.50, maybe it might retain its value, maybe not. But let's at least do the barters first and get a good idea of what potentially might happen next. Because if the support only ends at like $2, that's a skin that's not going to retain its value if it's selling for $3.49. Does that make sense? So yeah, no need to rush. We can do the abnormal barters Wednesday night, look at it afterwards, then make a decision. There's also another thing I want to bring up to you. So loads of people are making a big fuss. Oh wow, dark green. Oh, sorry, back over to here. Dark green jacket. How useful, how helpful. Well, here's another thing. If you just go look at all the way down here, you'd know that we have like some evergreen skins that are very, very cheap. We have a dark green jacket right there, and it's pennies. It's like nothing. So I ask you, does this jacket right here make a world of a difference, or could you just buy that for like 10 cents? Do you understand what I'm saying? So like, look, fair enough. I understand people do want like a full set, and the whole leafy design of this and whatnot, it does look cool. But if you're just trying to be have a fairly decent bit of camouflage and whatnot, what's the difference? Just trying to point that out. I'm not trying to like debate with you or anything. Just consider this: is that so much worse compared to the likes of this $3.49 skin? The prices are clearly very different, but does it really make that much of a difference? Now, a lot of people who just want to look nice and cool and stylish, fair enough. That's fine. That's cool. You're supporting the skin creators. That's really nice. But we do have to take that into consideration. Is this truly, truly special? Or is it just going to be something people are going to think is really nice for a while, and then suddenly another new skin appears? That quite literally happened to the cloak literally 2 weeks ago. It's unfortunate, but this could potentially become a problem. Do you remember last year when we had ponchos suddenly being accepted in abundance? I hope we don't see something like that happening with the jackets, but with two jackets being accepted fairly close to each other, skin creators are probably going to notice. We're probably going to be seeing a whole lot more jacket skins being accepted, potentially, or at the very least being made, because this might be the quick key to success. I know that sounds a bit silly, but do take that into consideration. So this is also a situation where we're like, you know what, why don't we just wait and see what the workshop looks like over the weekend, then make a decision if it's a good idea to jump in and buy some of these. Makes sense? So got to be very precautious, got to be, somewhat safe with all of this. So yes, it's abnormal. I don't need to rush into buying it. We can wait until Wednesday night. I've said that already. Let's move on. We have the Chameleon AK47. Now, I fully expected this to appear. Like, the very second I saw the Thompson, I knew, based on what I saw the previous year, that there was actually a whole batch of these Chameleon skins that were made. Mr. Miliofito, if we just scroll down here, a year ago, he made the MP5, the AK-47, the Thompson, and the LR300. Now, of course, recently we had the Thompson, and of course today we've got this AK-47, but do you understand, there is a very likely situation where we're going to see an MP5 version 2 or an LR300 version 2, and from then on, I wouldn't be surprised if Milio makes even more weapon skins. Maybe we might end up seeing deployables and clothing and armor. He is very successful with collections. Milio's been around for years, I wouldn't lie, he's probably been around for maybe about 8-9 years now, and he's the one who made the Tempered collection. He's made the recent Frog cosplay, he made Ladybug cosplay, Bee cosplay, Camouflage, and many, many more. There's loads of collections that didn't even get a single acceptance. So he's been at it for a very long time, and I assure you, he will easily put out some very nice looking Chameleon skins, whatever the type of item it is. Deployable, clothing and armor, or weapons and tools, it don't matter. He can make it, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people are going to appreciate it. So he's had 2 acceptances now. I really do get the feeling that we're probably going to see a whole lot more. And with the sales that we saw with the previous Chameleon skin, that being the Thompson, which had about 30,000 sales at $2.49, that was a pretty good bit of profit right there. So I wouldn't be surprised if this also sells by quite a lot. If anything, if this is only going to be weapons, if it's only going to be a weapon collection from here and now for a decent amount of time, I think it's going to emulate the Redemption collection, which at the moment seems to be somewhat holding its values here and there. Like, some of them have gone down a fair bit, but they're not drastically going down. They're still holding up quite nicely. As a whole, this collection seems to be doing rather well. And when times are good again, Wouldn't be surprised in the slightest if this easily goes up in price. So the more weapon skins that we've seen here, the better it has been for the whole collection. Also, please consider this. Gun racks. That's potentially, I think it's coming this next week for the September update. I think that's actually coming. So people are definitely going to want to have like full collections to flex on the gun racks and whatnot, if you get the idea. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we're going to see a whole lot more of these, because number one, they look very nice. If you just go to the workshop page and look at the video, or just a gift, for example, look at the shine on that. That looks awesome. I do get the feeling lots of people do like it. Maybe you don't, fair enough, but there are people that do. And as you can see, quite a decent amount of people have already jumped in. I think this is going to do about 30,000 sales, but I am a bit cautious because, number one, how many AK47 skins have we had accepted so far this year? Quite a lot. In fact, we've had 3 in a row for the past 3 weeks now. Remember the Knights Templar AK I talked about a little bit earlier? Well, just 2 weeks ago, we're looking at that and said, you know what, that looks like a really cool AK-47. But we knew this was on the horizon, and it was accepted. And we also knew this was on the horizon, and this was accepted. There is always another AK-47, right? People aren't loyal to their AKs. There will always be another one. People will always want the new one, and they'll happily ditch the old one. So please be aware of that. Now, is there going to be an AK that's, I will sit here and say, as stylish as this one? I can't guarantee it, but I wouldn't be surprised if there's a whole lot of submissions for Halloween and Christmas. That is usually something that always happens. I would believe we're probably going to outdo, or rather, we're going to have more skins accepted compared to the likes of 2022 is what I was trying to say. So we had 27 last year. I wouldn't be surprised, based on the amount of Rust stores that we have left this year, that we're going to beat that. We're going to probably have at least 28. So do be aware of that. But times will be good again. The end of December is getting ever so closer. So if you're looking at this and thinking, maybe it's not going to work out right in the short term, yes, but it's probably going to do a whole lot better in the long term, yes. All skins would mainly be like that, but especially with this. Now also consider this. We're very likely going to be seeing even more Chameleon skins. I already said that earlier, but just understand this. With the acceptance of this, loads of people jumped onto the Thompson today, and if we see another skin potentially next week or the week after that, both of these might get bought out because of that. And if another skin gets introduced and accepted, gradually, bit by bit, as the collection grows bigger and bigger, the pre-existing ones are likely and, of course, going to get bought out, and their values are only going to be a whole lot better. That essentially is what happened with the likes of Redemption Collection. I can tell you that this Redemption LR is the only LR300 skin that came out within the past 3 years that's in the positive. All the other ones, they're in the negative. Only that one, simply because it's part of this well-established collection so far. So things are looking positive with this, but I can't guarantee if it's going to retain its value. It very likely will be a situation where we only do a buy order. This is a $3 skin. It's abnormal. I'd rather wait it out. Look at what happens over the course of this weekend. Let's see what Milio introduces this weekend. Wouldn't be surprised if it's another Chameleon skin, MP5 for LR300, and we'll work with that, and we'll figure out what prices we might want to offer. But remember, October time, we expect Rust skin prices to reach a low point, like a very low point. But as we said, it probably can't get any lower than that, and then it will do a whole lot better afterwards. Maybe this potentially might go down to about $2, but around January time, maybe this goes all the way up to about $5. It's all maybes, possiblies, but I'm just basing this on what I've seen in many years in the past. I've seen things like this happen all the time, so just trying to get you aware of all of these things. A good firm buy order should potentially be all right. Perfectly fine. So let's stop talking about this now. Let's start talking about this custom SMG. So this right here, I'm thinking more based on the fact that it's a redemption skin, it's probably going to retain its value. But by itself, the weapon itself, gun demand is the issue. Custom SMG isn't exactly a meta skin, a weapon, weapon. So yeah, if you want a very clear showcase, a visualization of this, look at every single custom SMG skin that's come out in the past few years, and you can probably get a good idea how many people are actually wanting to use these skins. More specifically, it's probably based on the fact that if people are hardly using the custom SMG, where's the justification to use a skin? Therefore, low skin prices. And you might also notice a whole lot of them are around $1. Yep, this is a problem. It's the actual weapon itself. So yeah, oh look, Blackout SMG. It's the only one in the positive because it's a well-established collection. That is probably the best comparison I can give to this one. Like, just take a good look at this. Very nice, sleek design, basically like all of the other Redemption skins. Useful red aim sight. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just the weapon itself. People don't really use it that much. I'm not saying it's absolutely terrible. I'm just saying, like, you've got to respect the amount of people that actually are actively using this weapon, because you have to understand the justification to actually want to use the skin on it. I know it sounds silly. I know, but I'm sure you can understand that. So, with a nice, easy visual of this, you can notice the vast majority of them are in the negative purely based on that. So, what did I say? This will very likely retain its value. I don't imagine this is going to go up in price insanely at one point, but I do get the feeling if we did like a fairly decent buy order, we should be able to buy these at a point where when they go back up again, we could sell them for a fairly decent profit. It also depends on how many sell. See, with hardly any sales, things could look very interesting. It's a bit awkward, but with less sales, less people buy them in excess. It's a whole lot easier for it to go up in price because there's less of them in circulation. But by all means, look, if you like the skin, buy it, use it, enjoy it. Support the skin creators, you know how it is. So yeah, this is also abnormal. I'd rather leave it for a while. Look at what happens over the course of this weekend. Maybe Slanosta introduces another Redemption skin. We shall see what happens from there. But we should just do our abnormal buy orders first and then, consider actually buying it afterwards. You get the idea. So yeah, alright, so that's all established. So for these final two skins, it's going to mainly be like a half, maybe. I'm not 100% sure, but yeah, even then it feels very risky. Yeah, so let's just go ahead. Pug Furnace. So I know Ideal actually made another Pug skin before this, so it looks like he is intending to make a collection. As you can see here, this was actually the first Pug rock. Get a good look at that silly gif. Ha ha ha. Very funny. But yeah, it does look like he does intend to make a collection out of this. Now, the best thing that I could probably compare this with is the Capybara collection. That was really goofy, really silly. And if you go look at all of these Furnace skins, do you notice something? Only the Abyss Furnace and the Capybara Furnace are currently doing all right. All of the other ones, not very good. But this does have a collection. This has the, what was it? It was a sheet metal door, and we got the rock, and what else was it? I think that's it. But I do know for a fact Keke, the skin creator for this, is still making skins for it. Just this past weekend, we had a Capybara garage door. He's actively trying his best to get more skins accepted for that collection. So, with the likes of this Pug Furnace, it's selling for $3, which is kind of a high price. I'll give it that. But it is a bit awkward. Like, what happens next? Ideal. What are you going to do next? You have to keep an eye on the workshop and see what he's going to upload next. Has he commented? Right. Awesome. Great workshop. Someone's got to ask him, hey, you're going to make like a garage door or a sheet metal door or other deplorable skins, or are you going to make a version 2 of your rock? Or yeah, you're going to ask him that. And we'll see. But at the very least, you've got to see what appears on the workshop over the course of this weekend. It's risky. And at that high of a price, I feel like things are going to be awkward. But it's very, very silly and goofy. We've got to give it that. That's probably one of the goofiest looking Furnace skins that we've ever seen. But does that last forever? I honestly think in the long term that actually might work out very nicely. You please be aware of this. Furnace skins during the year, when they first come out, during the year that they've been introduced, they tend to go down in price. That is like on average. But like a year later, some of them do tend to kind of, oh, actually, no, they've all gone down in price again. Well, that just shows all the skins are going down now as we hit September time. Yeah, that's a fair bit awkward, but quite a decent amount of these were in the positive not too long ago. Things change. Anyway, in the long term, I think that could potentially be doing all right. And with the potential of seeing even more Pug skins being made, I wouldn't rule it out. But it's abnormal. I'm sorry. But you know what I mean. Like, got to do that buy order first. Look at the support afterwards, then make the decision. And one of the key potential influences for how much we might offer is, of course, the amount of sales. And, of course, we have to see what Ideal makes next. Maybe he instantly makes another Pug skin. We shall see. So that, we've just got to leave it for now. And then lastly, we have the Fry sleeping bag. Now, I'm not really that confident. And the joke is, and I quite literally said it last week, after seeing the burrito bag last week, I was like, Are we just going to see a whole bunch of food-related sleeper bags from here and now? Apparently, yes. Now, this was an early pick, so this was made literally this weekend, and then it's instantly accepted. So, okay, cool. Is this going to sell as much as the burrito bag? Is it competing with the burrito bag? Here's another, outlook. Obviously, you have multiple bags. You know, you put them down all over the island and whatnot. But are you going to have, a different food-related sleeping bag for every different spot? And you just call them... that's what you'll tag them as. Hey, maybe. So what could be next? A hot dog, a tray pizza, maybe a sandwich, kebab? Who knows? I wouldn't be surprised if skin creators make a whole bunch of food-related skins. Oh, hot dog. Food-related skins from now on, because that seems to be that's working, if you get what I mean. So, okay. Like I said, would that mean they're competing with each other because they're all the same silly theme, or would they potentially complement each other? Would people want the whole batch of them? I don't know. But the best comparison we can offer is keep an eye on the sales. How does it compare with that? And how does this look after a week? Because we need to see what this looks like when everybody who bought it has the ability to be able to sell it. Maybe it starts to struggle only 4 days in, and then we could see a potential problem there. So let's use this as a good example of what potentially could happen to this. All right? So yeah, please understand that. Not everybody who bought it is instantly able to sell it a week later because they bought them on a different day, maybe at a later date. Do you understand that? 7-day cooldown applies to when you buy it. So cool, understood. Awesome. So that's that, basically. I know there's these free skins here, but I'm just not really confident in any way. It'll be a very lowball buy order on these, but that is what it is. With a financial perspective, I've got to be very careful from here and now. And I had a big talk about that earlier, but it is what it is. Got to keep an eye out with the horrible months that we're going to go through. But once it's all done, it's a very, very good time, and we're going to be making some very good profits. So when it's October time and when we see the very low prices, if you do have that money ready, you're going to be able to jump in and buy in all of those cheap skins. Just wait a good month or two, sell towards the end of December. You're going to be selling a lot of them for a very good profit. So yeah, you've got to think about it in a different way. So other than that, I'm going to end this now. Best of luck to all of you. Keep an eye on all of these. Keep an eye on the workshop. And best of luck to you with your investments. And keep an eye on all of your buy orders. Don't make the same mistakes I keep doing because I keep forgetting I'm stupid. But I can at least warn you. So best of luck.